Now, when we turn to Matthew chapter 5, beginning at verse 17, very important message from the Messiah that a lot of people take for granted, unfortunately. Okay? Now, if there be any man or woman who teaches that based on New Testament teaching, we are no longer obligated to adhere to Torah, the Torah which was given through Moshe to Israel. They are liars, they are deceivers, they are false teachers, they are false prophets. Based on the messages that we are about to see. Now keep in mind some of the things that we've already been through thus far. But the passage reads this way. Think not, first and foremost, listen to that. Let me reword that. Don't even consider in your mind, this is what he's saying. Think not that I am come to destroy. What does it mean to destroy? This is a question you have to ask yourself, ponder on that, pray about it, sincerely, with humility. I am come to destroy. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. So he's saying in this statement, in this first clause, he didn't come to do away with it. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Now the question we have to ask ourselves relating to this part, how did he fulfill anything in the law or the prophets? But let's move on. Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, all you have to do is look, see, the heavens as well as the earth are still present. Till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Question, when will all be fulfilled? Because if all is fulfilled now, we have some explaining to do if we believe in the New Testament. One of the reasons why the Hebrews, the Israelites, and the Jews who don't accept the Messiah do not accept the Messiah is because they're looking for Mashiach, the conquering king. Now when we get into the lesson about HaMashiach, we'll discuss a few other things about the Messiah and the work of the Messiah. But there was something else that was also in need of fulfillment based on the law and the prophets. But let's move on because we don't want to lose sight of where we're going. Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Now listen to that. Okay? He is encouraging teaching the commandments. And it has to be emphasized again. When he came against the Pharisees or the Sadducees, he was not coming against the law or the prophets. He was coming against what many refer to today as modern day or rabbinic Judaism. This is what he was going against. Let's go down to the book of John, chapter 7, beginning at verse 16. Yahushua answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine. Now remember earlier when he was talking to the Sadducees and everybody listened, and the scripture said that they were astonished at his doctrine. So now here we find out, as he states, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. Keep that whole idea in mind. because we're going to see something as we go along in the conclusion of the lesson today. He says, verse 17, if any man will do his will. When he says his will, he's talking about Yah, doing the will of Yah. Okay? He shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of Yah or whether I speak of myself. So you have to be in alignment or have a connection with the Father. Verse 18. He that speaketh of himself seeketh his own glory. Now just think about that. He that speaketh of himself seeketh his own glory. Now, food for thought. You take any minister out there. Kenneth Copeland Ministries. Joyce Meyer Ministries. Now, I don't know if everybody that I'm naming has that title, but I'm just giving you something to think about. T.D. Jakes Ministry, Creflo Dollar Ministries. Why are you attaching your name to ministry? This is an example of how people seek their own glory. Well, let's move on. That's tip of the iceberg there. He that speaketh of himself seeketh his own glory. But he that seeketh his glory that sent him, the same is true, and no unrighteousness is in him. Did not Moshe give you the law? Now he's addressing this to the listeners. And he's talking to the Israelites during that time, or the Jews during that time. Did not Moshe give you the law? And yet none of you keepeth the law. Listen to that. He is acknowledging what we've already seen, how they have made void the commandments by their tradition. So when he comes against them, he's not going against the law or the prophet. He's going against this newfound establishment that we refer to today again as Judaism. And let me say this is not an attack on Judaism, but this is an effort to help everybody understand the truth about Hebrews, Israelites, and Jews. That's what we're doing here. Okay. Again, did not Moshe give you the law, and yet none of you keepeth the law? Why go ye about to kill me? That's a very important question when you understand who Mashiach was. But let's move on. Let's go to the 16th chapter of John, which reads, starting in verse 1. These things have I spoken unto you, that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time comes that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth Allah service. Think about that. You're talking now about people's lives being in jeopardy. And when these believers are being persecuted and put to death, the people who are doing this to them think that they're serving the Most High. Keep that in mind, because we are definitely in the last days and times. Okay? We are definitely heading towards another period of persecution. So keep these things in mind, that a lot of times what we're going to see is people persecuting the true believers as if they are serving the Creator of the heavens and earth, albeit deceitfully. Let's move on. Verse 3. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. So very important that we understand the truth about Mashiach, and again we will be dealing with that in another lesson. But one of the things we need to understand, literally speaking, or as one passage says, according to the flesh, Mashiach came through the tribe of Yahweh.